for choosing the national broadcaster. My name is Sandra Kahundi, coming to you live from Broadcast House, Nile Avenue. Well, today our hearts go out to the women out there, the expectant mothers, the women in labor, the women who are nursing sick children, and those in ICU. We're supposed to be having a great panel right here on the show, having more women share their stories and, of course, what they're doing for society, how they're impacting the young generation out there. But one of them is nursing a very sick child who's in intensive care. Another one happened to get an accident, and they're having bruises, and we don't know what is happening with her leg at the end of the day. But we pray to God that all goes well, and of course appreciating God for the breath of life. You need to get down on your knees and give glory to God, your creator, for this day and the great things ahead of you, as we also remember such a great mothers out there who are in different facilities and nursing their children, and others are out there in labor. This is a platform to celebrate the women. If you're a man out there, you're heading an organization, you're in ministry, and you're out there supporting the women, we salute you, and we pray that the Lord will bless you as well. Once again, talking ICT and continuing with this wonderful series, that is what we tend to do as a national broadcaster every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from the hour of 10 a.m. up until 11 a.m. Well, today I'm also humbled and privileged to be having Jeanette Anyejishire, who is going to be here to inspire us this morning as we remember the ladies out there who are doing their best in various fields. She's a software developer. That is what we tend to talk about this morning. For a lady out there who wants to tap into the ICT space, you're trying to figure it out where you can place your best foot forward and which particular course can you enroll in, knowing that we have to stand out in society. Women do great, that is as far as topping onto the economy. And this ICT is totally broad, as we've been having women share their stories and what they're tapping into and the returns they're registering at the end of the day. My name is Sandra, once again, coming to you live. Our guest for the day, Angela, is right here with me. You're most welcome, Jeanette. I beg your pardon. Jeanette, you're most welcome. We're supposed to be having Angela, but she has lots of issues she's going through. We're happy to be here, and you're going to be a great inspiration to the viewers watching. Just let them know how you're doing this morning.
Good morning. My name is Anyejishire Janet. Doing fine.
You're doing fine.
Yeah.
When we think about certain areas, especially that is to do with software developing, one would think of finding men in that space. What interested you to take that particular path?
Yeah, it is an industry which is highly occupied by men mostly. I was so passionate about doing things to do with computers. Like all my life, I wanted to sit down on a keyboard and press keys. So yeah, ICT was one of the things I wanted to do, information technology. So I went for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So maybe generally, maybe for the basics, what do you do exactly as a software developer?
I majorly focus on front-end development. So I do front-end is what the people see. So if you're on a site, what you see as a user is what you interact with, the user interface. I develop that. That's the front-end. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Okay, so basically you're on a computer, you're designing and thinking about so many things. What kind of programs is someone supposed to, one out there who wants to get into that space, software developing, which kind of programs are they supposed to be knowing or putting closer to them? The apps, for example, just to break them down for us.
Also, development goes into very many things. There are very many people who are involved in development. So some people do the research, other people do the design, other people do the development, then others do the deployment to make sure that the site goes live and people are able to see it. So basically I do the development. So you learn, there are very many languages in which you can communicate with a computer. So they call it coding. So you talk to the computer, you tell it to do this in very many languages. Tell it to do this, then it does the thing you've told it to do. So very many, I'll say, courses at the university can lead you to development, maybe computer science, information technology, to mention but a few. Computer engineering, you can go through all that and then branch to development. So basically you write code and then it displays what you've told it to do. Yeah. So the apps you're asking me about, there are very many apps you would need to use. Maybe personally I use VS Code. Yeah.
Okay, for those who are in your field, who would definitely understand, not?
Yes. It is an environment where you write the code so that you can.
How fun. It sounds to be interesting. Is it fiction? What is it about?
It is not fiction.
Animation? Because that's how it sounds like.
No, it's not. So you write commands and then you execute them and they do what you told them to do. Yeah.
Well, you must be loving your field. Well, what are some of those skills a software developer is supposed to be having at the end of the day to make their work easier?
You need to be able to solve a problem. You need problem-solving skills, and you need to learn how to break down your issues so that you can shorten, you can have the steps, Yeah, you can have the steps to, if I want to do this, what should I do first? What do I need to know? And how should I go about it? Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'll take you back in your explanation that is to do with the coding you talked about. You put a code. For someone who is watching and following, in simple terms, maybe letting them understand what coding is about.
Coding is all about writing a programming language. Yeah, when you're writing a programming language in a way that a computer understands, so that it can do what you want it to do. There are very, very many languages. So you choose according to the problem you're trying to solve. Yeah, because some languages help you to solve your problems faster and more efficient. Yes, and others might not be applicable. Yes, like there are languages which are specifically supposed to be for developing applications, others for websites, others for systems. And then when you break down the systems, then they also differ. Like maybe some languages very good for developing, like maybe a banking system, another one maybe for games. Yeah.
Okay. In your explanation, you also did explain to us about the testing itself. How important is it, the testing in software development?
You need to test your work because you don't want very many calls from the users. You told your people your system does this and then it's not doing what it is supposed to. So you have to test and make sure it is solving the problem you're trying to solve.
And how long does it take for you to create a program or create something that is related to a software development? How long does it take you?
It really depends on what you're trying to create. Some take about 4 months, others may span 2 years, according to what you're trying to solve. Yeah.
So in the whole exercise, is coding more important, or is it what really stands out as the main job in the entire process?
I think all processes are useful because you have to make research, like ask users what their problem really is, so that you can know what you're trying to really to solve. Then you have to design and see, is this going to help the people? Then you have to put that design into implementation. Yeah.
Well, I believe there has to be a number of brains behind all these.
Yeah.
So it requires you to have teamwork in the process. So tell us more about the importance of teamwork.
I think communication is key in teamwork. You have to be able to communicate so that you can try to collaborate well. Yeah.
And for someone out there who wants to create a website or maybe an app, like you earlier on explained, there are a number of different apps, depending on maybe, for example, if it's a media house, it depends on the house style. So I think that's how it also works, that side of yours in your space. If someone wants to design a website or an app, would you advise them? What would you, the requirements maybe, or maybe what are your thoughts to that if someone wants to create a website?
Okay, if you want to create a website, first of all, what are you creating the website for? What is your reason for having that website? And why are you creating it?
Those are the steps one has to go through.
Yeah, so you have to know your reason and have it so strong so that you stay motivated. Yeah, so then what do you want in the website? Maybe you want to have your company website. So what do you want the people who come to your website to see? The information you want to put in it. So then you have to secure a domain where you will host your website, and then you will have a developer to do it for you. Yes.
Okay, there's a lot here to learn. Domain, coding, testing. What is the front end and the back end in software development?
Okay, front end, as I'd said earlier, is the UI, the user interface, what the users interact with. Then back end provides the functionality. Like there are APIs in the middle to communicate between the front end and then the back end. An API is an application programmable interface. So to connect your front end with the back end, okay, back end majorly it is the databases, the servers, and also maybe the functionality. Because usually what happens on sites is you give it information. Let's say you're registering yourself maybe in a form or whatever. I'm going to use an example of a banking system. So maybe you're registering your users. You have to have users for the bank. And those users differ. There are people working in the bank. There are people who are coming on the platform to use the bank. There are people who are managing the bank, like the big people. So yes, those are your users. So those users, you have to enter that information in the system. Then you have to update someone. Maybe some information changes. Someone last time was the employee and now they are the HR. So you have to update that. So then you have to display that information. So you have to, okay, the back end, what they do is you give them that information, they save it for you. If you want to update it, you fetch that information, you change it, then they save the changes. So that functionality is what the back end does, and what you see in front is what the front end does.
Amazing work. For someone out there who is already tuned in, it's good to be having your company. We celebrate women, and we're talking ICT, more so a software development. And Janet is here to inspire us for a woman out there who wants to enroll in this particular course, and for a mother or parent out there who is trying to figure out and like, what is there to tap for my child? Why do I need to invest in this particular course for them to join the tech world? We come to you every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from the hour of 10 a.m. We do apologize that we came in a few minutes past the top of the hour. That was 10 a.m. We're talking software development. Lots of languages here, a number of words to put into practice. And there's also bugs, B-U-G-S. How do you fix the bugs in software development?
Okay, bugs could mean two things. One is you've created a feature and it is not doing what it is supposed to do. Then another is you have an error. Yeah, so you're talking to a computer. So sometimes you tell it things and doesn't understand. So you have to stay up and make sure, please, I'm trying to communicate this. Yeah. So fixing bugs is, okay, debugging. Fixing bugs is debugging. You you read your errors. Usually there are error messages and you try to fix where the error is. Yeah, sometimes it takes a short time, sometimes it takes a long time.
Can you give an example of a famous software program that really stands out, or that is closer to you on your day-to-day work as a software developer?
Should I say Google?
Google is more closer to you.
Yeah, because
it makes your work simpler.
Yeah, you have to learn every day. You don't know everything, so every day you have to continue learning and learning and learning. It's an endless loop of learning. Sometimes things change, so you have to unlearn and relearn again. Yeah.
And when you were studying back in school, I wanted to inspire the woman out there, or maybe the young girl who is trying to get into your space, what they really need to do to better themselves. Is it passion, or they're supposed to be the best when it comes to sciences?
I don't really think you need sciences to do development. You really have to want it. And then when you want it, nothing can stop you. When you want to do the development, you can find ways to learn. Because you don't actually need to, it's not a must to go to school. I've met a lot of self-taught developers. So when you have the passion and then you have the right resources, you can really achieve what you want to. So there are resources online. You can go to coding schools online. Yeah, so you just need the passion and the resources. But school can help.
And which kind of app do you use on a daily to do your work? You personally, in the program that you do?
I use many apps.
You use many apps, eh?
Yeah, I need VS Code to write the code. I need Chrome to see what I'm doing. I need the terminal to run the server. Yeah, so I use very many apps.
Okay, and how do you ensure that all those programs that you cite out are like safe?
They are always safe.
They're always safe.
Have to be safe.
Nothing can go wrong.
Maybe you need to update them. Yeah, when a program is about to run, when a new version is out, they send you notifications. So you have to make sure you update your programs. Yeah, so they have to be safe because you have to work. Yeah.
I know there's a lot of creativity that entails all this for you to create something very beautiful that stands out. And okay, maybe just letting the person out there to understand what creativity, the role that creativity really plays in this. Maybe someone is already in the space and they want to make themselves better. The role of creativity.
The role of creativity is to really
Because you said you have to do research all the time, you don't have to be there, programs change day in and out. There's a lot of involvement.
Yeah, you really have to understand the problem you're solving. Yeah, you need to understand the people you're solving the problem for, and then understand the problem you're solving. Then maybe you can make it better if you understand the problem.
And what are some of those problems, or the kind of problem? Because you say someone has to understand the kind of problem they're trying to solve. And I assume, because it's never smooth at the end of the day, it's never a bed of roses. What are some of those problems that software developers solve?
Okay, I'm going to give an example. We are developers. We are not doctors. We are not hotel people. We are not we are not shop owners. We are not business owners. So, and you will need to create maybe a system for all those people. But you do not understand medicine. So you have to really understand, what are you trying to help these people do? Yes. Is it maybe making the triage smaller, the triage, that place where they measure your temperature and maybe weight and whatever? Is it because you want to make that process faster? Is it because you want to, are you solving a problem of, I want my customers in a restaurant to get food faster. Yes, so you have to, you don't need to understand that I need to give this patient this medicine, but you need to understand what happens in the triage. Is it triage? Yeah. What happens in the triage so that you can help them solve that problem.
So it depends on the clientele?
Yeah. The
understanding
group of people you're trying to solve
a problem for.
Yeah.
If they're hotel managers, if it's hospitality, if it's in health, so you put you put yourself in those shoes.
Yes. You need to know what happens there so that you can know. Because what if you're assuming that maybe their problem is they are not getting their temperatures and mass and whatever faster. Yet their problem is they need to first go here, get this. They need to first go here, get this. So maybe you develop a solution that can get all that in one go.
Okay, amazing. Maybe how do you empower the community? You talked about those clientele, for example, someone from the hoteliers coming to you. Maybe it's a system they want to change at a medical facility, and you're helping them ease their work. Yes, I know you understand what I'm trying to bring out. How do you empower such businesses? I'm sure you have like a number of success stories.
So usually they tell you what they want to do. Like, I'll give this example. Once upon a time, one time we had an idea of people are really crowded in public hospitals. So what's the problem? Are there a few doctors? Because if the problem is few doctors, you have no way to solve that. Are there other nurses other receptionists not telling the people where to go? Because that can also cause a problem. You find someone in emergency and they're supposed to be somewhere else. Yes. So what's the problem? So we discovered that very many people are going to the hospital even when they are not supposed to. Yes, so you have a simple headache. You can go get painkillers, but you need to be diagnosed first before you think you should take painkillers, because it could be a headache caused by something else, which could cause you a problem. So then we discovered these people that can make few people go to the hospital. They are called community health workers. These women who go and give polio vaccines to the children in the villages, you've known them.
Yes.
So that the mother doesn't need to go to the hospital to ask for a polio vaccine.
Could even be very far from them.
Yeah. So what we needed to do was help those people make their work more efficient. Maybe what is happening in this community. Yeah, so we focused on the community health workers, because if the community health workers are being well motivated and organized, very few people will need to go to the hospitals, and then it will somehow reduce the congestion. So you really need to understand the people you are working with, and then you really try to focus on what the problem is. Yes.
Okay. Sounds interesting, being a software developer. Like everyone puts it, we're in the tech world, tech space. It's the in thing. On the lighter note, what's cool about being a software developer?
One, your ego is here.
in the hierarchy of ICT itself.
Yeah. Then another thing, it's cool attaining what you want to achieve. Then when you see people are happy about what you have built for them, yeah, you become happy also. And
for basics, for a beginner who wants to be like Janet and be a software developer, what do they have? What do they need to do? Or maybe, yes, if they're just beginning and they don't know what you've been saying, coding, what, testing, bugging, front end, all that language.
You really need the passion. You have to want it, because everything you need, in everything you do, you have to want to have the passion. Like, I want to do this and I have to do it. So when you are driven by some inside force, yeah, you will want, you will have the drive. You will know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you will know what to do.
And then if I'm a beginner, when it comes to coding itself, what do I need to do? I just simply tell the computer what I want.
By the way, you can.
No, tell us about it.
How
Simple is it?
You go to your Google and then you type how to learn coding, and then they give you resources. Then you start reading. You read this, and then you can choose if you want to do videos, if you want to read.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, if you want to use YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
You can go on your PC and you're like, how to learn coding, like how to begin development.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and they tell you what to do.
Well, have you gotten support from the men out there, maybe in the field that you're in, maybe way back in school, at your workplace, that has enabled you to succeed and be good at what you're doing? Have you gotten support from the men themselves? Maybe it could be your dad, who has been a role model in this journey, or maybe a guardian or a big brother. Want to find out if men have been of support.
Yeah, they are. There are very, very many men in this space. In the company I work in, at some point I was the only lady who was a developer. So yes, they help me learn. They tell me do this. Even up to now, they tell me do this. You're doing this wrong. Do it this way, and then you have to learn and learn every day. Yeah, so they are very supportive.
Okay, and maybe okay, let me leave that. You talked about helping the businesses out there to thrive and make it conducive for them to have a better environment to do their work, and you gave us a very good example to do with the health facilities out there. And we cannot do away with farming. We've been encouraged to get into farming itself.
Yeah.
Have you thought about the farmers, or maybe creating an app or something to ease their work, or other kind of businesses that stand out, especially when it comes to agriculture?
I haven't really explored the farming space, but maybe it's a field to get into, because most of the people in this country do farming. So maybe you will have a very wide base of people with the same problem.
Okay, tell me what you thought about. As a woman, we could have thought about a robot that will do chores for us in the house. Tell me what you're thinking about that you'd love to do.
I really need to get into the health space.
How so? Of course, I know at the beginning we were like, we remember the mothers out there, the nursing mothers, the ones who have the sick children, the expectant mothers. Many women go through a lot. And
most mothers are not actually informed. Like maybe, let's say, the young mothers, they are not really informed of what do these kids need, what do we have to do, what do we not have to do, and a lot of information. So usually they will need to go to the hospitals to get that information, or maybe hope that someone might pass it on. Yeah, so if we could get a way to help them get that information, like even maybe before they give birth, it could be really helpful.
Okay, are you getting returns? Is there money? Because when someone finishes school, they want to get into the job market and start earning. As software development paying back, you've been in the field for some time. Are you getting returns?
Yeah, it's there.
Have you had by the role models from the start? I know it's been your passion. You were closer to gadgets and that is what you wanted to do. Did you have like a role model standing out for you? because some of the women we've been talking to are some of the challenges. They're like, in my space, I did not have mentors, I didn't have anyone to look up to, I needed role models in this field to let me know that I can also thrive and do better, maybe learn a thing or two from them. Did you have mentors or role models?
The role models I had were not really in the tech space. Yeah.
Okay. I am sure you're comfortable where you are. How can we make your environment better, a conducive environment for you to do business as far as Uganda is concerned and the tech world that we're living in? Because I know complaints come through, say internet connectivity, expenses to do with data. In schools, a few children get closer to the computers because maybe there are not so many in the computer lab. How can we make this better?
If you really want to, maybe, let's say, I'll give an example, maybe schools and computers. You can use it when maybe the rest of the students are not in the laboratory. You can create time for you to use a computer, and if the computers are few, maybe they could get more. Yes, and also, yeah, there is a problem with internet. Sometimes it is very slow, but not at work.
Okay, we have a few minutes to go, but we want everyone to understand what we're talking about. In simple terms or in simple English, would you explain to someone who's watching what software development is about?
Software development is a way to...
Okay, without using so much of the technical words.
Okay, when you're doing software development, you are basically communicating with the computer by writing code and a language it understands so that it can do what you're telling it to do. Yeah, so you could be telling it, please write these words on our computer. Please put this picture here. Please do this. Maybe you're telling a button, please do this when a person clicks you. Yes, so you're telling a computer to do something when it is triggered to do one, or when it is, let's say, a site when you're loaded, please show this information. Yes, that's all about software development.
Okay. There's creativity, there's a lot of hard work, and then you have to do a lot of research to stay in check. How do you learn new things in software development in your field? How do you keep yourself abreast to learn new things?
When we were in school, they used to tell us, make Google your friend. So make Google your friend, because things change every day. So you have to learn every day and then learn some other new things. You have to continue learning. It's a continuous loop of learning.
And then when you think about creating your work, or the apps, the software itself, how easy is it? How do you make it easy for the person to be able to use that software?
You have to test. If you want something to be easy for the user, you have to test. And then you have to ask them, is this okay? Usually when something is confusing me, I call a colleague. I'm like, how would you log out if you're on this page? Then when she does something which I didn't expect, then I have to make adjustments. Yes. So sometimes you do something and you assume, maybe this one they will understand. This is how it has been. This one they will know. They know what to do. And sometimes they won't. So you have to ask, how would you do this? If it were you, how would you do this? Then they do, and you observe. Then you make adjustments. Yes.
Okay. Are you able to tell a story? To tell a story, maybe a story, or could be a challenge that was at hand, and the only rescuer you had, the only Superman you had was software development.
Yeah. I can.
You can, please.
Okay. We had this. The only skill was software development. Well, okay. I have many.
You have many.
I'm trying to
pick out the one that stands
Yeah.
out. And it was really a challenge. You're like, we need software development in this.
Okay, I'll choose one. So when we were in senior 6 vacay, so I was at home. We went to the vacation, then COVID came. Yes. So we were applying to universities. You know, you have to do everything online because you won't travel from wherever you're coming from to Kampala, then you bring your documents. So we had to look for online sites where we could apply to. Yes. And software development really came in because there are a lot of sites out there. Some are legitimate, others are not, so you have to do your research.
You have to be good at research.
Yeah, you have to really know where
So
to
you were
to
really
go.
that far in the village?
Yeah.
And I
It's far.
assume you had other software developers in the city. So how do you work together as software developers, even as much as you're far from each other?
Or we can work remote. You can work from home. Because if you have a laptop, you can, all you need is a laptop, most of the times, and internet, of course. So if you have a laptop, you can work from wherever you want to work from. Yeah, that's the beauty of software development. You can work from home, you can work from the beach. You can work from wherever you want to work from, as long as you have internet and your laptop.
So can I become a software developer if I have my gadget?
Yes,
I have
you
my
can.
laptop. I can simply become one.
Yes, you have to make
What do I
Google a
need?
friend.
I just need a computer or maybe a laptop and make Google my friend.
And yeah, and internet. And then you can get resources online. Yeah, there are sites that really teach you what to do.
And which course did you do?
I did information technology.
Okay, for someone out there who wants to be like Janet, please do share with them. They're in your age bracket and they're like, okay, I've been inspired and this is the path I want to take. A word for them from you.
So, if you really want to do development, there are very many resources online. Very many. You need to choose which one works for you. Personally, if you're really starting, I would recommend W3 schools. Then there is ProSite. There is Code Hub, something like that. There are very, very many sites online that help you learn programming. So you go to that site and then they teach you, you begin. You have to have a PC, obviously. So you begin, they tell you if you want to put this in your browser, write this. Then you write, you run it, and then you say there is a different kind of happiness that comes from seeing your work going live, and whatever you told it to do, it is doing. So when they say maybe run this, they usually use a phrase, hello world. So when you run your hello world and it is running, you really become excited. So usually those sites tell you what to do there, like write this, do this. If you want to do this, write this. Yes, so you write it in your coding environment and then you run it in your browser. Yes.
Okay, what is the best part of writing code in software development? What's the best part?
The best part is when you've broken down things and you really know I'm going to write this and this and this, and then you run another first try. Everything is fine. It is really, really, very good.
The fact that you all smiled, it's really good. What's the future like for you as a software developer, especially in Uganda? Because I know most of you tend to run away to look for a greener pasture, but we need the skills right here in our region. What is the future like? What would your thoughts be when you look at software development in our region? What is the future like for you?
We have very many startups coming up, and it is really good for us. Okay, for everyone, even the developers, it will increase our tech space. It will be very big, and it is very good for Uganda also, I think. Yeah, so those who are running away, come back.
Okay, you have, before we let you go, maybe a word of encouragement or maybe appreciation you would love to send. Greetings, spread some love.
Thank you for watching. Mom, I want to greet my mom, my parents. I know they are watching.
You say out their names.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. Mom has a name.
She's called Ruth. Then also my friends and very many people in the tech space. Yeah, keep doing what you're doing. You are great, and you can do this.
You go back to your workplace or workstation, and then they'll be like, she didn't mention my name. I have been her role model.
My friends, Esther, Promise, Sandra, Ravinia, everyone out there who is watching. Hey, my sister Promise. And Peru. Yeah, everyone who is watching.
They've really been there for you in this field.
Yeah.
Amazing. Greetings to them. Well, thank you so much for making time, Janet. I am sure you inspire the viewers who've been watching the program this morning. Come again.
I will.
Well, my dear viewer, that's all we had time for today's episode. Thank you so much for always joining us every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from the hour of 10 a.m. up until 11 a.m. To have this great inspiration that comes from different ladies on this platform in all these various spaces where they operate, and listening to their journeys, their stories, their aspirations, and how the future looks like for them. It helps us all as women, and also appreciating the organizations and the men that stand out in the different communities, organizations to support these women. Well, today we salute the mothers out there, the expectant mothers, the women who are nursing, the ones that are having sick children in different spaces. We salute you and we pray for you. Women go through a lot, and for those who are supposed to be joining us this morning and had issues that is to do with intensive care emergencies coming through, may the Lord support you and see you through. My name is Sandra. Guest for the day, Janet, has been wonderful. Keep watching the National Broadcaster. A lot is coming your way. God bless you.